Why is it always going to be a wizard?
Nice.
Why can't we get a USB transfer paladin?
Or like a warlock or something? Yeah, you always gotta prepare the spells.
Just avoid the transfer bar.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Linux Gamecast Weekly. The show covers the latest Linux gaming news, reviews, how-tos, and most importantly, whatever the hell else we come up with. I'm Ben. That's Jordan. Say hi, Jordan.
Hi, Jordan.
There we go. And Pedro Mateus.
Hello.
He said, the boy who said hello. Together with you, Shatrum Dynamic. Helping us for him. Cocaine. Voltron. I think YouTube's just finally beating it down with Cocaine Voltron. It's like just two canes, man. Two canes.
Same. Dos.
Once knew what's going on. I don't know if I ever talked about it like on the show proper. Where are you at with like childproof lids? There's no like there's ones that are like, all right, that's kind of pointless. Then there's the other type of childproof lid. The one that just doesn't come off, like you have permanently etched in your palm and like you're leaning down on it you got your foot on it on the floor and you're like, come on.
The one that makes you really consider like, am I a child? Am I just being defeated by this? Like,
yes, and you're looking at it like angry. You're like, you're not going to win this. Like,
you take the hammer and you just like smash the cap.
This was my problem, man, because I was going to get into the problem was it was a glass container and B, it was filled with like lethal nicotine stuff that you couldn't get on. I was like, I got to be gentle with this and get it open. Hey, internet, how do I do this? Dude, my jaw dropped because the video I watched, I was like, this is thumbtack. You take a thumbtack and you put it like right towards the outside of the lid and you push it down into the lid. Fucking screws right off.
Yeah, that's how the mechanism, because the bit that's loose at the bottom until you push it down, you're just tacking it on.
I mean, I thought there was going to be some like, hey, if it just doesn't work, or like, oh, this is like going to be, no, it just screws off then. I'm like, huh.
You need to get the claw out and suspend it from a 45-degree angle upside down.
It was a little bit of like anticlimactic because I was ready to go to war with this thing, and like I scratched off the rest of the day, and I'm like, we're getting in this. Like
some of the child safety stuff on like the legal cannabis you can get in Canada. Like some of the packaging is like, yeah, no, they don't want children to get into this. They don't want stoners to get into this because I'm having some fucking trouble parsing these instructions and like, okay, I finally got it open. All right, now it's staying open forever.
Also, a little bit of an update on ReCORE. I talked about that last week. Had a good time with it. Got like 12 hours into the game, and I'm going to say you could get like 12 solid hours until you get to a platforming area that is going to be a large section of the game to where I looked up and went, oh, fuck this. But for $3, I had a solid 12 hours into this. So
that's pretty good.
Yeah, good ROI on that. And also, if you like games that tell you what to do, don't buy that game. There.
No hints at all?
Dude, it is. Pedro's a huge fan of like show, don't tell. How about don't show, don't tell?
It's just a blank screen. It's figure it out.
Fortunately, it's easy to navigate since it's a desert planet, because those are really easy to pick out that rock formation from that other rock formation that looks exactly the damn same. But no, I had a good time with it, and I might go back just for the challenge of beating this platforming stuff. Unlike Jordan, who pulled it off, they got through it. Celebrations were had on Thursday.
Yes. Oh my God. It took literally the entire stream, but we managed to get through the final part of that one level of Strange Brigade.
Before I published it, I was like halfway through, and I'm like, nope, still there. 3/4 of the way through, still there. And I'm like, what? Oh, did they? Then I had to back it up. Then I heard the like victory yell of Jordan.
Yeah. Oh man, it was to the wire too. We're like, okay, we're at the hour mark. I'm like, let's give it one more try, and we'll call it. And serendipitously, it happened. Yeah. So thank you, Beastwick again. Thank you, Biatko, Nubbin, Patrick, and
all the people watching at home providing support.
I think that was everyone. Yeah, and yeah, the people watching at home. I was there too. I'm like, there were 5 people in the call. Right, I'm number 5. But we're gonna keep at it. So if you want to join in, Thursday 7:30. We still got, I think, 2 levels left, and then I don't know what we're moving on to. But we'll jump off that bridge when we get to it.
You can play the vampire game that everybody's loving.
Oh, you know what? Naughty Duck give
whatever.
me Fireteam Elite, so we can start doing that.
Oh, Pedro will be sick of it by then. He'll just like, no. He'll find like one little.
Pedro doesn't want to hang out with us on Thursdays. He's like busy sleeping and shit.
To be fair, your stream starts at midnight 30, and I have to get up at 7 on Fridays. So
Okay, so we do it at 6 a.m. your time.
Yeah, sure.
Hour before work.
So I'd have to get up even earlier.
Yeah, but you'll be ready for work after killing aliens.
Yeah. Game over, man. Game over.
But yeah, no, that my time has been all as much as I can spare, including getting chores just put on the back burner for a while so I can play a bit more Aliens Fireteam Elite. Also got the that motherboard box that's back there. That's Nori's new motherboard. I put the 3700X that was in this computer on that motherboard, and it just freezes. It does the exact same thing as on the current motherboard that she has in there. So I think that CPU might be dead or dying because it boots.
Have you tried putting it back in your PC?
No. Because I have the 5800X, it's good.
Well, no, I'm just saying, just for testing, because, if it runs in your PC, you can give her the CPU that's in your box.
Yeah, the 5800X 3D, yeah.
Yeah.
Nori, in case you're watching that'll totally work, too.
Possibly. Something's weird about that processor, but yeah. I'm going to see if I can...
Did you make sure to put the thermal paste on the underside of the pins?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you gotta spread the heat lotion. No, I'm gonna ask... co-worker for I know they have another 3000 series, so I'm gonna test with that one on that motherboard just to make sure, and then I'm probably just going to get Nori like a 5600. That's plenty good.
That's an excessive amount. That's an excessive amount of heat lotion. North Ranger.
It could be a G, but she has the RX 570, and she's going to get a 6600 once those drop below 200. So there's that.
Jordan, we gotta answer a question for everyone at home. Is the horse BGA or LGA?
I think our horse at this point is like GGA. It's like a goop grid array because it's just completely gelatinous.
It's the gravy array.
Yeah, it's the gravy array. It's the steam. I'm going off the rails on a gravy train. Well, we can talk about trailers. Everyone's favorite part of the Steam page where you like search for a game and you click on it and you see a bunch of words and not actually the gameplay. Valve has a solution. They are going to be limiting the number of trailers that will show up in the carousel of the store page to 2. All the trailers will still be there. They'll just be near the end. But you're going to have 2 trailers at the front. The rest has to be screenshots. And yeah, they have some best practices about what trailers should look like now that they are making this adjustment. And chief and foremost is show the fucking game, which I think and the article explains like why we're doing this. Like, oh, it turns out that people are kind of tired of like going through a bunch of story trailers and having to scroll through about 8 of them to get to like a screenshot of your game. So we're just going to limit the total number. You still have control over what screenshots show up at the front, but if you don't do anything, it's just whatever it's first come first serve.
Yeah, no, I very much look forward to the first 10 developers that will try and game this and start actively lying about content of the trailer. Because they're going to have like the tags above the trailers, like this is a teaser or this is gameplay, something like that. So I very much look forward to see who's going to try and game that particular
They're going to game
system.
the game, man.
Yes.
I don't know. When I saw this, I'm like, here's the best practices, which we all know, and I completely 100% agree with Valve, from the page right on there. Like, get right to the action and show lots of gameplay. Because as we all know, that simple pie chart of what video footage you want to see in a game trailer, montage of logos, here's a simple pie chart. Do you want pre-rendered cutscenes? Maybe. Scenes of anime? How many 9 out of 10s is interview with the developer? No. 100% gameplay. 100% gameplay. And I brought this up in the pre super shows, and go back and listen to that if you're a patron, because here's what happens. I'm not a patient human being. I'll like, hey, what's this game look like? I want to see some gameplay. Click on it, no gameplay. Click on it again, no gameplay. It's more wishy stuff. Fine. Go to YouTube. Game of game. Oh, look, there's somebody playing it. That's great. Then I watch the gameplay footage. Then YouTube shows me a recommended video of a frog eating a mouse, and I'm down that rabbit hole, man. I've forgotten about your game that I was about to possibly buy. I'm out of the loop. So yeah, give us some gameplay. I think that's a good idea, and you better do it, because at the end of it, Valve's like, you don't need to do this yourself manually, which means our AI is going to do it for you. And well, it's Valve's AI, so you want to roll that, go for it.
Yeah, and like to your point, Venn, like, yeah, looking for gameplay footage. We were talking about this in the pre super shows, and like Joshua's legs are that crazy taxi Fifth Element game. Like, you want to, like, the gameplay they show you in the trailer is like someone who has practiced quite a bit, and not like Joe Schmo like picking up a controller and trying to Joshua's legs his way through the entire fucking game, right? Like,
I like seeing stuff. Man, that was a good trailer, because I looked at that and it's like, man, only the developer could do that with this game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
then you pick it up and you're like, I am nowhere near this good. He can jump. I can barely do that.
Well, this is not the only Steam update we have this week, because they are improving the search. Updated Steam Store search. Quick search now includes tags, developers, publishers, and franchises, and is more forgiving with spelling errors.
Spelling mistakes?
Oh,
I think
man.
that's what I wrote down.
I mean, it can do searches across tags, categories, and I think this is good. Better handling of typing mistakes, which, all right, that's great. It's out now. You don't have to do anything special. My big question about this is it on par with Google yet? And this is an absolutely 100% serious question, because game or thing or whatever plus Steam, enter is how I search for stuff on Steam.
It's a very good point, right? Like, at the end of the day, Google is probably like the best per page index of like the entire web. If you want to find something, you don't even have to be right. You don't even have to be in the ballpark, and Google will send you a result.
I mean, how many times have you found yourself with the, at least with the Steam search, when you're close, the game will pop up in the drop down, but like you'll like, what was that game? How do you spell that? And it doesn't show up in the pop. I'm like, fine, all right, just go to Google.
Or you do Google like dog Game Boy game something, and then you get the link to the Steam page, right? Like,
no, you avoid the first link, top 10 dog Game Boy games.
Yeah.
Yes,
Google.
there's always going to be the listicle in first place.
The sponsored link, yeah. No, but like improving in app search is good. Like, especially the ability to like search across tags. That's gonna be real handy for like trying to narrow down your actual search.
Yeah, I think I'm happy about that. Maybe it'll get better. I'm to the point where I'm indifferent, because I'm so like, that is just my method now, and it works for me. But hey, maybe it does. Proton has gotten an update as well. We got 8.0. Was it last week that it came out?
Or the week before, something like that.
How does that work?
Yes, 8.0-2, because there were a few problems with 8.0. I mentioned at the time that Elden Crack and APB, the two games that I tried to launch with Proton 8, just straight up didn't work at all. But they actually addressed the improving Elden Ring compatibility compared to Proton 8.0-1. It can still be finicky, and it is. It launches sometimes, but APB still doesn't work with 8.0. However, it does work with Experimental, the version of Experimental that came out on the 5th. It makes it so both Elden Ring and APB just launch reliably. APB, you still need to disable the Steam login. So you can either use the launch commands or just add, I'll leave it in the show notes, the INI that you need to edit with just 2 lines. And that will make it so the game just works without any very, very complex launch codes that involve launching the game EXE specifically, bypassing the launcher altogether.
I'm just happy to see every time there's like a Proton update now. There's like, oh yeah, we fixed another problem with Baldur's Gate 3. And oh man, talk about like early access then, right? That game is going to be like working on Linux day one. I'm so excited. Like
the only thing that like stuck at me, the Trackmania 2020, the Ubisoft Connect was apparently leaking memory, which I was like, that's probably the least of its problems. So that's been addressed. It was good on them. And yeah, hey, it's good to get the Elden Ring back up and working kind of on this. And even on this one, yeah, they're very clear of like, fuck around and find out.
Yeah, you could still use 7 because, yeah, that was still working fine. It was just whatever they did with Proton 8 that EAC just does not like.
Here's a different type of question, though. Do we have too many versions of Proton now? Like,
I think they could probably like
where
look
does
at
Proton
cleaning
really
up, like,
start? Like 5, really?
5? Yeah.
Maybe 6 at this point.
3.
Well, no, not actual, but
yeah, that's where it starts.
okay, let me put it to you like this,
So-
Pedro. Yes, but what version of
3.7.
Proton that you currently have installed? Lowest version.
Lowest version I have
316 because that's the default one for Dark Souls 3.
Yeah, I think mine is.
It's the
I don't think I
whitelisted
have,
version. So
Proton 7.
that's what it pulls down.
Yeah, 7 is the earliest. I have 378 as the earliest they have just in the list.
Yeah.
So,
But like recently, I just went through, when 8 came out. I'm like, yeah, I have 7 and 8 now, and I manually went back and changed a lot of stuff.
yeah, I think I think like it might be good to prune it, but like at the same time, it's always nice to have the option to just be like, oh, if there is a version of Proton that I know 100% is working, then I can roll back to that, and like taking that like I don't know, maybe like having an ability to like edit the list, or you can have like a tick box to be like show all Proton versions, or just like show the most recent ones.
To be fair,
something
most
like
people aren't going to see that. They're just going to click or hit play on their Steam Deck or click play on the desktop, and whatever version it defaults to is whatever they use. They don't even think about it.
People get salty when you take away options, though. So, like, at the very least, like, give people the ability to hide the excess ones. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you can, that's a check mark. You can hide all Protons, just not, it's all or nothing, though, I think.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I mean. Like, you can have,
it'll
like...
show you the ones that are installed, though.
Yeah.
Because I just have 7 and 8 on my, 7, 8 and experimental. I don't
Well,
know.
and it gets even worse when you have, like, GE versions, because, like, a lot of stuff will require, like, specific
Proton
GE
up QT.
versions.
If you're going to be messing with Proton GE and Lux Torpeda and STL, Steam Tinker Launch, just use Proton up QT.
What if I want to play Bayonetta on my Steam Deck?
Yeah.
Well, Bayonetta 2,
Yeah.
you mean?
Well, no, Bayonetta 1 is on the Steam Deck, too.
Yeah, that
no,
is
just-
on Steam. Yes.
Rather, or Switch. Anyways, yeah, EmuDeck. That's what I'm talking about. You can easily get emulators installed on your Steam Deck, and they have a new release out, 2.1, and they have a new feature. You can search. They have a store for homebrew apps, which is going to be pretty nice. You can't like actually have the Switch store or whatever, or the eShop present. We'll get to that. But well, no spoilers. But having a way to search like Switch and
Why is it always going to
Wii
be
U
a
homebrew
wizard?
is nice.
Why can't we get a USB transfer paladin?
or like a warlock or something? Yeah, you always gotta
warrior.
prepare the spells.
Just
but yeah,
avoid the transfer bards.
Yes. So they got early stages for Simu and Yuzu support, which is good because apparently Nintendo is now going after these guys pretty hard. So you're probably going to want to check out a copy of those emulators and have them locally. Also, they have a neat little utility to pull ROMs off of the storage, off of external storage. I know it's a bit of a pain in the ass for me. I got to pop the SD card out of my Steam Deck, load it into a computer, drag all the ROMs over, blah, blah, blah. Having a way to just be like, oh, plug it into the dock, pull all the ROMs to this directory. It's nice. It's a quality of life improvement. So
If you have
good
a
stuff.
NAS running with SMB, you can just use SMB from Dolphin on the desktop version. That's what I'm doing. But yeah, it is the one that jumped out at me was actually the very last one, the automatic Steam input profiles. You can have those defined per game now, which is really, really nice because there are some games that you'd rather have the original Nintendo where the A button is where the B button is on the Steam Deck and vice versa. While others, they just make more sense with the standard layout and you actually want to use more buttons, like you want to use the little paddle buttons on the back to do some extra stuff. You can have that for one game, but not the rest of them. That's very nice. That's very nice indeed.
Why don't they just put this on Steam?
Well, it's probably something about licensing with the
I'm
actual
amazed.
emulators.
Yeah, I'm amazed that like ReCORE is on Steam with like no issues.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah, not no issues. They can only offer some of the cores.
yeah.
There's only like 8 or 9 of the cores on Steam. The rest they can't. They just can't.
There's actually quite. I was looking through it the other day. There's a decent amount of cores for ReCORE on Steam, but yeah, it's not the full suite, and especially if you want stuff like Yuzu.
You can still load them yourself, but yeah, they're not available for distribution directly from Steam.
Yes, it's like a proprietary codecs in Fedora. They're available. You just gotta like install them yourself.
All right, we got some new games for everybody this week, starting with bear butt boxing. What is it? You fight completely unregulated alien boxing bouts and knock out players in bear, all caps, by the way, bear butt boxing, chaotic multiplayer with physics-based characters. Now, these are jiggle people. And my first thought, looking at the tags, casual, funny, action, multiplayer, physics, I'm like, we need to get a jiggle physics fighting tab because this is yet another jiggle jelly physics.
Pasta pugilism. I don't know.
It's got online PvP though.
Yeah.
Because I fully expected to see this as like a local multiplayer.
Local only. Well, yeah, that's kind of the joke now. Is like, oh wow, this looks like a really fun multiplayer game that I can only play with people in the same physical location as me.
How much was it? That's gonna be games like this. Yeah, now we're definitely thinking about it a little bit differently than the average person because we're looking at picking up, minimum 3 or 4 copies of it.
Right.
To hand it out. Oh, I don't know. It's kind of rough when you see like Kingsby is like $7. I mean, it's regularly $19.99. So I think this cost exactly 1 Hollow Knight. No, it's early access.
$15.
Yeah.
It could be really the characters wiggle a lot like Gang Beasts, so you're probably better off with that one.
Get smacked in the face by a giant sausage falling from the sky.
Yeah, or just get picked up and thrown onto the train tracks.
Always looking for.
I still have the fucking burger hat where you could headbutt people with. Be like, it's lunchtime, motherfuckers.
I mean, Gang Beasts has got its own. I mean, the secret sauce to Gang Beasts, no one really knows how to play it. So we're just all too afraid to publicly admit it. And that makes for good entertainment.
Oh, I'm sure there are people who are like legit good at Gang Beasts. Like,
they're that one person that you randomly get matched with.
Yeah, like, I don't want to deal with that. It's like, perfectly blocks all your shit. It's like, wait, you can block in this game? I can.
Mm-hmm.
Come home, get home from work, man. Have a quick bite to eat. All Gang Beasts the rest of the night.
Yep.
How do we pronounce this, Pedro Mateus?
I'm going to say Raimodula, something like that.
Raimodula?
Raimodula.
Thank you, unproved Steam search.
But yeah, it is. It looks to me, and last week my description of or comparison with older style video games was questioned. So to me, it looks like Strider meets Altered Beast, but with a lot smoother animation. And it is. It's another 2D platformer.
Oh
but,
no! Pedro can only see in 3 dimensions.
Look, I'm just saying, it's 2023. the Raspberry Pi 4 can play Quake 3 Arena, so can we stop?
Shirt and fix you away.
It's nice. It looks very nice. I like the animation. The animation looks a lot smoother than it has any business being. So good job on that. But can we get something else?
That's kind of funny. He's like, damn it, that's bad, Mr. Robot.
No, boing, boing, boing.
Yeah.
So this one it's interesting. It has an emphasis on you gotta venture through the game and unlock abilities. And what you want to do is just create some like fucking cracked out combos and some like really overpowered shit. That's what this game wants you to do. Which Spelunky, Mega Man Legacy Collections.
What the hell's Gallagher?
There's the Mega Man comparison again.
Yeah.
Hey, somebody's played the Castlevania. Yep. Yep. All right.
Castlevania. Yeah.
Immediately on the same page there. I don't know. Might be fun. I'm 2D. I think a lot of us are like a very weird audience when it comes to like 2D platformer. It's got to be done right, but everybody's got a different idea of what right is. you know?
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
sometimes it just clicks and
One thing, this game does have multiplayer, and it's couch co-op, which is fucking dumb, man. I know it's a hipster pixel 2D side scroller, but like, come on, it's current year argument. If you're going to make a 2D game, you can at least add some online.
Jordan, you can't have an 8-bit NES game with online multiplayer.
Except
That's
for that
just
one
patently
cartridge
false.
that will
Except for
gladly
except for
connect
the
to
one
the
that,
Wi-Fi.
yeah, that has like a built-in USB Wi-Fi thing in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you could play online multiplayer with your NES game, just
Yeah.
saying.
Yes,
Lifetime's
the
away.
Wi-Fi little teeny tiny microprocessor in the Wi-Fi chip is several times more powerful than the actual NES chip.
Well, I mean, that was like the whole thing with the Super Nintendo and a bunch of the add-on chips were like, they were basically like slapping an entire fucking coprocessor on your
It
F-Zero
was,
game.
and like they ended up costing as much as those games were, like 90 to 100 pounds too.
Yeah.
VR racing, that was like the game you rented.
Yeah, there is precedent for this. So yeah.
So you ran across something.
Yeah, I found out about this today. I saw an explanation of it, and I'm like, this looks dope as fuck. I'll see if it probably has a Windows version. No, it has a Linux version, and this is Cassette Beasts. It's not Pokemon. I swear, you guys. It is a 2x2 2 versus 2 monster collecting RPG.
It's clearly not Pokemon. The animation's too high quality.
Yeah, pretty much. I heard about this on the Castle Super Beast podcast, and lo and behold, Linux version. There's a really interesting typing system, and like where Temtem is like trying a little too hard to be Pokemon, this one takes like the core concepts and like goes in its own direction, and it just sounds really cool. I really want to try it out. It's got overwhelmingly positive reviews, and it's not in early access, so like shit, man. Oh, I don't know.
Oh, okay, looking at the amount of reviews, that explains why they didn't reply to my email. They're probably a little busy.
So it's a wee pricey, but like apparently the gameplay is there, and also compared to the $100 Pokemon game that is busted as fuck. I don't know.
Is that still broken?
Still broken. Still broken, and they're gonna release a DLC. So.
Additional notes: 30 FPS at 1080 on low quality preset with a no video card whatsoever. All right, that's pretty impressive. And with a no video card required 60 FPS 1080p 30 at 4K on high quality.
GTX 970.
I mean, with a 970, 30 FPS at 4K on high, that's pretty good.
Okay, 970. I mean, I did say no video card, right?
Yeah, no, for the minimum recommended, it's like, okay, yeah, no, that's fine.
But does it support OpenGL2? You're good.
Oh, man. We got one game update this week, and it's a game we've been playing for years upon years, and they just keep coming out with new stuff for it. Especially, like, it's like Team 17 owns this now. It's no longer like the fun pimps.
Like it exited early access, which is like the other crazy thing, right? Like it was in EA for a while.
Yeah, it was for a long, long time. We're talking, of course, about golf with your friends, and we've been able to play this game from it was legitimately like broken in hilarious ways to where they've fixed a lot of it, but it still has that.
It has a little bit of charm.
Yeah. So this is the latest update and latest bit of DLC with 9 spooky holes to put your ball in. And rumor has it that if you manage to complete this devilishly difficult course under par, you'll be rewarded with something special. Probably herpes.
I mean, most
They
people
will
already
personally
have
come
herpes.
to your house and French kiss you.
There's also some new spoopy hats too.
Maybe that's how you get the herpes. The hats are just covered in them.
Or just covered in it. I don't know when this is coming out though. Okay, let me see. Is it out yet? I don't think so. It might just be free because they release free stuff all the time.
Yeah.
And if you haven't played golf with your friends, go check them out. It's one Hollow Knight, but if you got people to play it with, definitely worth it. Fun game. All right.
I think that does. I was looking through that article to see if there's like
Yeah,
any
I think it's
mention
just
of a release.
out. Yeah.
I got to assume it's just out. Coming up next, we're gonna change your name to lose your. I'm not a number. I'm a free man. There you go.
42069.
Hashtag 6969.
There's been some disagreement going on, and well, Discord is going to be doing things, so those two go hand in hand, I suppose. But hey,
Are we gonna have a Discord on Discord? Where's my shades?
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna have some discourse on Discord.
Oh,
Yeah.
if you'd like access to our Discord, Jordan's going to tell you how you can do that.
Yeah, you can sub to us on twitch.tv/linuxgamecast or patreon.com/linuxgamecast.
now you have the witty rejoinders. Look at this.
Yeah, I was trying, man. So speaking of patreon.com/linuxgamecast, you should join that. It's a good idea. Totally. We won't steer you down a dark alley
better
where you're going to
investment
get
than
mugged
Warcraft.
by a skeleton. That's not true at all. Yeah, you can sign up, get access to our Discord. Like I mentioned before, you can also get into it via our Twitch sub as well. Which, by the way, we got to thank Gamotron and Basil for their 19 and 20
Yeah, I thought you were going to sneak
subs.
that in. Aha. We got you.
We got you. Yeah, get into our Discord. RSVP did the game streams. I do. Well, I guess we're wrapping up Strange Brigade on Thursdays. And,
Celebrate violently after 3 weeks of squad wipes.
yeah, pretty much. If you want to help us out. Or Trackmania, Tuesdays and Fridays, you can go play with Venn and the Miscreants, the old people. We were talking about the AARP last week, and they're back in full fourths. Filthy.linuxgamecast.com.
Full fourths.
Full fourths. May the 4th. Yes. We got a store as well, store.linuxgamecast.com. You can buy some lovely merch tote bags. Use me. I'm wearing our shirt right now. Use me.
Oh, yeah.
Use me, Penguin.
Yes.
How's it holding up? Has it faded?
Yeah, it's still pretty good. I don't wear it that often though, just because I don't want to have to explain it at work. But you know, I want you to have to explain it at work. We got stickers, we got lady shirts, we got tote bags, all that good stuff. We got if you want to not buy yourself something and buy us something instead, we got wish zones. If you head on over to linuxgamecast.com, we got them. Put your mouse over the support button. I have one. Jill has one. Venn has one. Pedro, yes, good old Pedro. He's my
It's a
Pedro.
new payment system from LGC,
Yeah.
Pedro.
Yeah. Just be a real Pedro about it. Yeah.
No, we're just going to send random
real
currencies
Pedro.
shoved in envelopes to Pedro's address and see what happens.
Just shove Pedro in an envelope and mail him somewhere as payment for I don't know,
Speaking
drugs.
of unwanted things, I got some diet pills at random from some Amazon thing. I had to go into Amazon and report that because I didn't order them.
Sure.
Maybe Nori's
go
trying
check
to
the
tell
wish
you
list.
something, man.
Check the wish
No,
list.
I
It's
checked
like
all of the orders
skinny
just in
man.
case. No, neither me nor Nori ordered those pills. So
So what?
Yeah.
Okay, real question though. What did they taste like?
I haven't tried. They're still in the box. I'm waiting for.
Dude, what type of diet pills?
tastes
Because I
like
see
what?
that stuff like in the tacked onto next to the health section sometimes. This is like Turbo Slim 9000 dangerous.
Yeah, no,
Inno
it's just
subs.
like tapeworm X, right? Like you just
Yeah,
take a bunch of
effectively,
them.
right?
There you go. Inno cleanse.
So yeah, it's a colon cleanser.
Poop
All right.
your weight away.
Yeah.
And it's got
X-Lax.
samples for other ones. Like this
Ooh.
one is a fat burner, and this one is nighttime fat burner, and fat burning collagen complex.
Yeah, and anything that's a fat burner that you're not getting from a pharmacist is bullshit. So
Yes, this is why these are still here unopened.
See how many you can eat. Come on,
No.
yeah, just like take them all at once and
right? You
see
got a
if you
blender,
survive.
don't you?
Yeah, this is the real chair position. By the way, speaking of sending us random unsolicited stuff, if you buy us stuff off wish lists, you can send us a little note. We got to read it on the air. If you buy Venn some stuff, you get your name and lights on the flashy wall that's not flashing anymore because
Dude,
that thing is busted.
I got like a stack
It's
of these
technically
notes.
on.
I think the green's back though.
Oh shit!
It's one of those
Green.
things, right? You don't fuck with it for a while, then you're like, hey, I think
Yeah,
the green's back.
when you turn it on and then all of a sudden it's working after like 6 months of it.
I had
not,
to
like,
chase these around the studio when I came in here to cut everything on because I have like that little desk fan that I keep
Oh.
in here. And yeah, I wasn't paying attention. It was on, and when I was like, well, that's been on for a couple of days. And I pick it up, yeah, and it caught these that were sitting in the corner, and they just went very comically. I'm like, God damn it, fine.
I just watched the episode of The Simpsons where Bart is harassing George Bush Sr. and just like dumps his memoirs into the boat of like the boat motor.
Oh man,
That is what just flashed through my head.
you're gonna have
And
to grab that GIF, maybe put it in our Discord.
Maybe I don't know if I can find it. Tenor Simpson.
That was a
memoir.
segue.
Yeah. You know what? Fair enough. I didn't catch that because I'm dumb. Talk to me about Discord and how I can't know your name anymore.
Discord's changing. They're changing a thing. It's dead. Discord's going to completely, not really. They're going to evolve usernames on Discord. So what's this? They're going to get rid of your 4-digit discriminators and replace it with 4-digit discriminators? Question mark. I have to look that little thing up. If you don't know, it's like your username plus the number, and I'm like 4104. The only reason I even know that's there if you're doing like a friend request or something like that. That's what you got to do to be accurate. However, it's even when they give you the new number digits, it's still going to just display as your normal username anyway. That's not going to be that big of a deal. And it's going to be rolling out on depending on how long you've been on Discord. Jordan, you said it's also depending on whether or not you're like Twitch Turbo or something like that.
So they say is any like actual like community verified servers, and then users with priority based on Nitro subscriptions and your account age. So I had to look mine up. Mine is from February of 2016. Y'all's are from around that. Yeah.
That's a weird way to spell atomic ass, isn't it?
Yeah. Well. So the good news is that if you are like le atomic ass, le cool atomique, and you have some fucked up username with a bunch of Unicode characters, all that stuff is preserved. It is just friend requests that are ultimately affected by this. And so you're going to be prompted for a username at some point. As per the rollout strategy, you can select it. And then, lo and behold, that's how you share your name in Discord heretofore, as opposed to having to give the discriminator. Which they bring it up in the article. Like, no one fucking knows what they are. A lot of people aren't even aware that like they exist, right? So,
oh man, can we be skedaddle pals?
You've been my skedaddle pal for the entire time.
Naughty. So it's going to have your display name, and it's going to be like at your new username. So mine's going to be at Venn, at Venn, probably.
Unless some Nitro user grabs it first.
Oh man, I look forward to that missing persons report.
Yeah, I guess RIP to anyone who has a 0420 or 6969 discriminator, though.
Yeah, I was really proud of mine because it's hashtag 0123. I was really happy with that. It's like, oh, that's neat.
Sure, that's
and now it's going away.
Yeah, like that's like when you get a new phone number. It's like 5551234, and you're like, ah, shit, I got easy mode.
Why are they having to do this? Like, this is like we're bringing this up because we have a Discord, and Discord's used in gaming. A lot of people were upset about this. I was reading on Reddit and on Hacker News, and I thought like first rule of Fight Club is never change your usernames.
Yeah, that's usually how you get your discoverability. You get that one username and you're that everywhere.
I'm talking about as a company. Don't ever change your users' names. Like force that.
I guess this was just like a bit of technical debt that like maybe they could have done this like earlier. But I guess now it has become a big enough issue that they're like, oh, well, I guess we got to do something about it.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Why is it an issue?
Well, I guess like to make things more consistent with like the Twitter way of doing things, where you just have like a single handle as opposed to like we can have a million like at Pedro's, but you're Pedro 1234 or 0123 as it were. It's a little obtuse, right? Like I see why they're doing it.
Well, I mean, like North Ranger's like real name policy. You can say what you want, but that really fucking led to some good conversations on G+ back in the day when they had that in effect. Edgelord McAssface didn't show up for that party. Everybody was
Edgelord
like, hey,
McAssface had a hard time figuring out how Google Plus worked, though.
Oh,
so.
Yeah. It sucks. I don't understand it. Yeah, I'm curious as what, the conspiratorial mind of me. Like, why are you having to do this? What's part B of this?
It probably has something to do with
when did the Underpant Gnomes show up?
Underbent Gnomes have been running the show the entire time. How do you think WebRTC works?
We got to get out of here. The gnomes will get us.
And just to save you from typing it out in the comments section, yes, we're aware that Matrix exists. That's cute.
Oh, that light bulb just died. Huh. Okay.
What? Oh. Dude, I got one in the upstairs.
Like
foreboding.
Yeah. Upstairs bathroom. Check this. You got LED bulbs?
Yeah.
Yeah. And this one, when you cut it on, it blinks for 1 second and goes off until you tap it. So it gives you that mini, that little when a light goes out, you're like, oh man, it died. And then I tapped and it comes back on. So I get to, I haven't changed it yet because I'm a cheap bastard.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I bought like the box of 24 LED bulbs from Amazon Basics, so I'm happily going through those.
Ah, nice. Up next, lawsuits.
Pretendo, yeah.
Pending.
I mean, is it going to cause a lawsuit? Nintendo's still going to try and sue.
Yeah,
I don't
well,
know if they're going to have grounds. Yeah. I don't know if they have grounds, but Pretendo is an open source Nintendo network replacement that aims to build custom servers to replace servers for the Wii U and 3DS families of consoles. I really like my 3DS. I have a lot of games for it, and it had a decent online service stack where you could have multiplayer games, and now Nintendo has killed it because they hate you. So the community has taken it upon themselves, or at least the Pretendo Network project has taken it upon themselves to try and create a replacement, starting with the NEX framework. They've used that to create an account server, and they have a proof of concept running on the eShop, or a proof of concept eShop version running. This is good. Hopefully, at the very least, this can preserve some matchmaking for Smash U or Pokemon Gen 6 or 7 Wonder Trading. But yeah, they're working. They're still working on like getting to feature parity. But this kind of shit is like crucial because these games still exist. They still work. You should still be able to play them with people, even if Nintendo doesn't want to necessarily run a server. And you know, Nintendo vehemently disagrees. They're probably going to try and take these guys out.
Let's say Nintendo out of the one company that would be like draconian as hell. And like, even though they're not doing it, have no plans on doing it, and they need it to stay dead because fuck you. That's why Nintendo's first on that list. In my mind, anyway.
Yeah, and I genuinely do hope you have lawyers lined up. Nintendo has no grounds to stand on because this is completely reverse engineered.
Well, we do got to be like very clear. This is not a new project.
Yeah,
no,
and it's seriously just have lawyers that you can get because they will try and stop it the moment this gains any kind of traction. Like everything else. Like all of the previous attempts that we've seen to revive games like
A2MR.
Yeah. The moment those get any kind of traction, Nintendo's lawyers come a-knocking. So
this is kind of far along. You can't play with it just yet. At least I can find a way to play with it. And they're like, yeah, it's not quite ready for public consumption. But the progress page, a couple of games are already working with the Wii U, 3DS. The account server seems like it's pretty much done. And it's just neat. The two things, it will work with CEMU. So as of like CEMU 2.0 plus, it has official support for this, and you'll be able to install it on your devices with Homebrew. So good idea. I mean, just for like the having multiplayer for these things, especially in emulation later on, like this is the way. It's not buying it on the Wii remastered version for $60.
It's the Wii Classic. You know, you can buy the thing that you plug into your TV and it comes with like 60 Wii games or whatever, right? Like,
yeah. Good job. Look forward to seeing that get rolled out, especially like when you're thinking about like CMU, when we want to play like a multiplayer game.
Yeah,
you know,
or just pairing that with the thing we talked about in the Steam segment, right? Like EmuDeck, you can just like install Cemu. Get to playing your online games out of the box.
Two-player games that would traditionally have that. You know, Splatoon's a bad example because I don't think we'd play Splatoon, but it would be easy to get together and just stream or with your friends and stuff.
Mario Party?
Yeah,
like,
Mario
straight
Party.
up.
Mario Kart. Yeah, there's a lot of games on those consoles, especially the 3DS. 3DS was huge.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Good times. So we've talked about OBS a couple times on the show, and a couple of weeks ago we were talking about the 29 beta, but it's out. It's out so much that there's even a little bit of a point release. Open Broadcaster is what we use to bring you the show each and every week. And a couple of things I noted this one. This has got like the big speed up for screen caps on Intel GPUs. So if you've been using your integrated GPU to do desktop recording, give this one a look. Something that I was very happy to see. There's been a bunch of improvements for DeckLink. Now I have the Intensity Pro 4K, which I used to do return video to the satellite boxes. Brilliant. I did notice that you don't have to like wait and like, is it going to work? Then it kicks in. And they've offloaded some rendering that to the GPUs. They should have. This, as a reminder, will rename all of your jack syncs with OBS, then whatever they're called. So you have to redo all your wiring if you're using jack. AMD AV1 encoding. has been added to the simple output mode. So that's good. You don't have to dig around for it anymore. And of course, they've added a setting to record fragmented MP4 and MOV files, which I think we can have a little bit of fun. Pedro and Jordan, on tonight's episode of Venn talks about containers. Best
I thought you were going to bring up, a couple of weeks ago when the recording got half fucked up because it didn't.
It just didn't record at all. There was no half fucked up. It was completely fucked up. It just fucked off.
One hundo pasundo, man.
Yeah, that was a fuck off, not a fuck up. If you had to guess, maybe you just know a fragmented MP4 or MOV container. What would that do as opposed to a regular, ordinary, vanilla MP4?
You can chunk it so that it's easier to like serve out from a streaming server.
Sounds logical. Pedro?
And to account for it, if OBS crashes, you can still recover what you did record up to that point compared to non-fragmented MP4s where it's just not usable.
There we go. Pedro is correct. That's the whole chunk point, and the end result of that is a file, a movie file, or an MP4 file that will just cause DaVinci Resolve, the most stable piece of software that I've run across in recent memory, to spike nope right to desktop.
Yeah, hide one element in a scene, crash.
I guess it has to do with like the multiple dictionaries it needs to have for like all of the fragments.
No, I mean like it records fine. I don't have any problems with that. It's just when I import it into DaVinci Resolve and I try to back through, scrub through the video, guaranteed every time. Right to desktop in DaVinci Resolve. But that's what Pedro said. That's kind of the important thing. My solution to that right now is called big chunky battery backup. So if the power goes out and if it crashes, like, we'll steal it from the live stream. So good to see. Excellent work all around. And yeah, I don't think there was anything other than that was like exciting. And Twitch, AV1, like,
yeah, seriously, where's the AV1? Come on. All three of the
we're talking about
graphics
that in the
manufacturers.
Break, and like $600, like even if I get a hold of a 4070, like I couldn't utilize it unless we were doing the YouTube beta for AV1. Yeah.
Well, back to the emulators, I guess.
GPU buyer noises. Yeah.
PPSSPP, which is the funniest name for an emulator ever.
PPSSPP. Is it for playing PSP games or for like trying to get a cat to come to you? Like you decide.
Yes. But yeah, version 1.15.1 is here, and they also released 1.15.2. which there were a couple of crashes introduced with 1.15.1, so it's been sorted. And yeah, they had a couple of fixes, but
hey man, in their fairness, they fixed Android 12 support for that one guy who uses Android VR.
Yes. And they also fixed the, this is in their progress report because they had a big progress report to go along with it. On Android, if you're using PPSSPP on Android and you wanted to use the accelerometer as an input, it was a little bit flaky before, so they've improved that significantly, and it's actually usable now, so that's very good.
Speaking of mobile, they have a fix for the Mali T8X 0 GPUs, which is going to be really useful for mobile because Mali GPUs are fucking everywhere. So being able to actually run Vulkan on them is great.
Yeah, it was actually one of the best Vulkan implementations was for the Mali GPUs. They actually bring that up. And they've improved Vulkan support for a bunch of other mobile GPUs. And they've changed how shaders are compiled. Basically, they reworked the entire compilation so that now for each game, there's less than half the amount of shader operations necessary to get it up and running, which is very good.
That's going to improve load times? Or is
load times, reduce stuttering, and just make it smoother in general. Mm-hmm. And they also, if you're using the Vulkan renderer, it uses multi-threaded shader compilation now. Finally, that should have been there a long time ago.
Take advantage of that 8-core CPU in your cell phone.
Right? Yeah, like those 8 cores in your phone or your 16 threads in your desktop, just use them.
Hey, they're also doing some additional work on RISC-V support.
Hey.
Yeah.
There's a lot of RISC-V stuff coming up lately.
Yeah, that's good. Do either of you, I've never done anything with PlayStation Portable. Like, I've seen one once. Guy pulled it out of his pocket, and I'm like, that's neat.
There are like
I had one.
2 games on PSP I really want to play. One of them is Peace Walker, the Metal Gear Solid game, and I think the other one is
Metal Gear Solid game.
No, that's Metal Gear Acid. Peace Walker is like a full on like proper Metal Gear. It was originally called. It was actually originally called Metal Gear Solid 5, and Konami's like, no, we're not going to release 5 on a mobile console. Call it something else. Or sorry, I think it was 4, maybe. I don't know. One of them, 4 or 5.
Yeah, I had a PSP, and when Sony did the update that removed the ability for people to run homebrew stuff, I installed custom firmware on mine because fuck you, Sony. I paid for the fucking console.
You also paid for a PS4 that you're not using.
And Bloodborne.
No, I didn't pay for that PS4.
You paid for it. You paid the iron price for it, Pedro. You paid for
I
it.
gave coworker Dave a bunch of stuff, not expecting anything in return. It's like, you want a PS4? I have a PS4 that I'm not using. Yeah, sure.
Bartering with benefits. That thing's got so many drugs packed in it, man.
Yeah.
I haven't checked. I would actually taken it apart except to put an SSD into the SATA bay. Other than that,
you just crack it open. There's not even like a PS4 guts in there. It's just weed. It's just all weed.
Just bricks, man.
All of the drugs.
He's just waiting to pull that kill switch on you.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to point out, you don't need a BIOS for pss.
Yes.
No,
it's all
full HLA.
Completely open source.
Yeah. Good to see.
Indeed. Coming up next, arf, arf, borf, borf, blam, blam. We're throwing chairs at wild dogs. Welcome back to the Chairquisition, where we take a game, run it on a bunch of different Linux distributions, and then give you a score based on lawn chairs to tell you how good it is. 1 chair means that it's crap, 4 chairs means that it's amazing. This week we're taking a look at Wild Dogs, done by Second Boss. On the Unity engine, you can pick it up for about $9.99 US. What is it? The world is under frantic alien attack. Amidst the chaos and with the army virtually subdued, the deadliest, most inconsequential pair of specialists are called upon to do what must be done. Join the war hunting aliens around the world in every way possible. Gotta thank Second Boss for sending us some keys over the Curator Connect. And I guess let's get into it. How did it run, Pedro?
Actually, it ran very well over here on the 5800X3D and the RX 6700. It launched out of the box. On the Steam Deck, it launched out of the box. It defaults to correctly locking and V-syncing the FERPs to whatever your monitor's refresh rate happens to be at. It offers a multitude of 4 color filters, and the yellow/dark blue one that you're seeing on screen, that was the one that my eyes liked the most, so that's the one I used. There's there's also the whole remember the gold/blue dress. People went to jail over debates about that stupid dress, and I honestly want to watch the world burn, so there's that. The controllers work, the Alpaca worked, the DualShock 4 and the DualSense worked, so, and Steam input is correctly set up for the deck, so very good on that. And I honestly didn't hate the 10-15 second loop for the regular level music. I actually enjoyed it very much. The boss themes I honestly could have done without. Just let me keep the level music playing, please. As for the fun, I didn't hate it. I did not hate it at all. Remember how I said that I don't like platformers for platforming's sake anymore? Well, this is a 2D action shooter in which the platforming is reduced, correctly, down to a traversal mechanic rather than the primary gameplay loop. That's very good. That's how it should be. And it means I could enjoy the pew-pews and only jump when the screen stops scrolling because it means I'm stuck on something, or I hear an enemy pew-pew means I gotta jump. I could complain about the character blindness, but honestly, when you're covering the screen with projectiles and all the gory remains of your slain enemies, that's kind of to be expected. And in boss fights, where your character positioning actually becomes important, the background provides a very good contrast so that you can always see where you are. Wild Dogs is, in my opinion, a shining example of a simple yet wonderfully done game. There's attention to detail, there's audio cues, there's fun gameplay and bumping chip tunes, and honestly, the platforming is just traversal. It's not the core of the gameplay. It's good. It's very good. 4 chairs.
Yeah, on Fedora 37, that's the one, 64-bit with the R9 3900X and the GTX 1080 Ti. Launches out of the box, same with on the Steam Deck. Yeah, that intro music, man, that comes in hard. Holy shit, I was not prepared to be schmoovin' and groovin' right at the outset, but, you know, here we are. It definitely looks and sounds like an idealized version of a Game Boy game. I had a weird issue playing it on the Steam Deck, where my brain keeps telling me it's a Game Boy game and that I should narrow my field of vision to a 4x3 field, resulting in me getting killed by a bunch of shit on like the 69 end of things. Yeah, that's just like a weird like sense memory thing. I don't know. Controls are tight, are sanely mapped. Correct button prompts on the DualShock 4 and on the Steam Deck. There is some character blindness though, as Pedro mentioned. With all the stuff on screen, it can be a little overwhelming to my ADHD brain, especially considering like there's a pretty consistent color palette. You can change it up a little bit, but everything's the same color. And little dots, they kind of look all the same. It's a little difficult. There do be cloud saves, but unfortunately, you don't actually save the game until you defeat all the mini bosses and the final boss in a level. We'll get to that. Get back to that. Fun-wise, yeah, it's pretty fun. It's pretty basic, but it's pretty challenging as a side-scrolling shooter. Well, at least challenging for me. I'm not really good at these sorts of games. And if this were a Game Boy game back in the day, I'd probably be happy just to sit on my butt and get good at the game. I noticed I was definitely improving over time, but yeah, you know, ain't nobody got time for that. Most of the time, you're just running and gunning Contra style. You can pick up some power-ups, but the only two worth a damn are the spread shot and the rocket launcher. The boomerang is more of a boo-boo-rang, if you ask me. You do occasionally get to the choppa or other vehicles, and you have some side-scrolling vehicle segments, and sometimes you get to play as the pupper, and you get to do some light puzzle platforming. It is retro to a fault, though. As I mentioned, there's not really much in the way of save games, and you have 3 lives with 3 continues, so 9 shots total. And once those are up, you gotta start from scratch. I get that, like, this is supposed to be a retro Game Boy game, but come on, man, we're in 2023. Ain't nobody got time for this shit. I am a busy guy. I would just like to be able to pick up and play the game, and the game doesn't want me to do it. It has a very intended gameplay route. That makes sense when, you know, you had a little CMOS battery inside your cartridge, but now I have a solid state drive that doesn't need, you know, persistent power. Otherwise, I'd say it's a pretty faithful tribute to an era in gaming that I have a lot of nostalgia for. So, you know, nostalgia vision works sometimes. I'll give it 3 chairs.
Over here, ladies and gentlemen, on Debian, testing with a 1920X with a 3060, you know what? It managed to push those pixels just fine. And hey, this has a lot more options than the original Game Boy, which is pretty much limited to off, on, and whatever you could dial in with the brightness and contrast control. Borderless full screen, a couple of windowed options. Display options, you got regular pixel, pixel perfect, blurry. That's pretty well much all you got right there. Logically mapped out on the Xbox controller, didn't have any issues there. The beeps and boops, their chiptune soundtrack, I mean, it's period correct. It's really got that good feel to it. And the guns, they go pew. But what you might not realize is he plays Frank. Yeah, that's right. That Frank. This is his backstory. We've not talked about it a lot on the show. However, it is all based on true events. Now, the last game clone title that we played was Super Rad Ray Gun. Let's face it, that was Mega Man with the serial numbers foiled off. Wild Dogs, pretty much the same, but with 100% more Contra. You get a couple of lives and some continues, and then it's game over, man. Between, like, life and death, that area, that squish, you just hold down fire and murderate everything that bothers to move. And sometimes you jump. And by the way, as we learned at the beginning of the pre-super shows, there's double jump, as Jordan and I went. Oh, yeah. Because we don't read good. Then you get the spread shot, and then the game becomes don't accidentally replace the spread shot with another power-up. So that's an interesting mechanic. Puppers just kind of follows you around. He does get his own mini levels, you know, flip switches and there's screenshots on the store page where he's getting into a mech. So kind of looking forward to that. There are a couple of flying levels to break things up and plenty of enjoyable, like, retro game here. for the price. You know, $9.99, evil when it does handstands. Like, really, my own complaints, kind of like what Jordan said, is the save system requiring you to beat all the mini bosses, usually 2 mini bosses, then a regular boss before it saves. As I learned the hard way, you got to beat the boss, or it doesn't save, or you start all the way back at the beginning again, which happened to me. Now, granted, probably better than permadeath. Agreed. And it kind of stops the game from being like a pick up and fuck around for a minute simulator in the age of the Steam Deck, which that's something you might want to take into consideration. Also, the desert bus reference is not lost on me during the loading screens. Yeah, for the price, performance, for what it is, what it was trying to be, I think it nailed it. Solid 3 cheers. Gentlemen, what do we think? I think
it needs a better save system. That's like literally my only complaint with it.
I could argue for and against that. Like, I would personally want that, I think. But I understand where you're going with, like, that being a compromise between permadeath is what it would have been on the Game Boy. No?
Yeah,
some of them had like battery backup saves, but not all of them.
Well, not all. Yeah, Pokemon had a battery backup.
There was Pokemon, and there was Tetris had the battery to keep the high scores.
Yeah, Zelda Link's Awakening also had a battery backup. The mana games. The point being that like that it was a product of an era, it was a limitation of an era that like we don't really have right now. And yeah, like I'll point out Celeste as sort of like the gold standard of like hardcore sort of like classic platformer games with like a lot of accessibility.
It starts you at the start of the screen, not the start of the game. Yes.
Yeah, right. Like it, yeah. You can design the game so that like restarting the stage is punishment enough.
I think see, here's the thing though. Like if it did that, because what you do get is you get 3 lives and what 2 continues.
Yeah, 3.
3 continues.
3 and 3. So 9 attempts total.
Right. Then it's game over, man. But then you can start back. I think that's
and you get extra lives with certain score.
Compromise. Where's that double jump, Pedro?
Hold on.
No, I'm just gonna pop.
This is the point where I forgot the double jumping was a thing. So hold on until the worm comes back around, and I'll do the double jump.
As the worm turns.
Yeah, I was like fucking curious as shit.
Jump.
Like, how can you dodge that?
Right. I just took it. I took the worm, man.
Yeah. It was the same thing with the first boss until I realized, oh, the spot in the middle is the safe spot for the spread attack.
Laser pew pews, and you gotta move. Yeah.
Yeah.
Double jump.
Okay, well, not as fancy as Pedro. But.
Yeah, maybe some like better indication that there is a double jump too. Like maybe a couple segments earlier on where it's like, oh, you have to use the double jump.
Yeah.
That, you know what? That would have like sealed the deal, like right at the first level of like, hey, you're like, oh, I know how to do this double jump because you can go all the way through level 1 and 2 without double jumping. By the way,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much like that's why a lot of those like Cuphead's tutorials, like, do a double jump. And it's too difficult for a Polygon reviewer, but whatever.
Also, something. What is it? The Naturo run, motherfuckers with their arms flailing out behind them.
The Naruto run,
Naruto. Mm-hmm. That's what. Yeah, and it keeps you on your toes because those motherfuckers are coming from both ways.
Yes,
you're double fisting those motherfuckers.
Both
the
timer and the ones running up behind you, they're telling you just keep moving, keep moving.
That was one thing I wanted to bring up about the save system. This game does have a high score mechanic. So, if you wanted to enforce difficulty, you could add like a difficulty multiplier with like easy, medium, hard. And if you want the top score, you got to use hard. And hard is just like the standard life things. Easy will start you at the beginning of the screen, like when you die. Like there are ways you can like design your game to like accommodate for that.
You can give the puppers laser beam eyes like Homelander.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean that would give it instantly 4 chairs if like you could just shoot laser beams with the dog.
Yeah.
Like absolutely, 100%.
I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility, man.
Yeah, Wild Dogs 2, Dog Harder.
All
right, that's gonna do it for here. Coming up next, we get our blocks blocked.
Oh,
unfortunately,
Box, damn, that's hard to say too.
Yeah, block. Who's there?
Hello and welcome back to the podcast.
Welcome back to Linux Gamecast! Exclamation point.
We have to talk about hate mail, not the boring kind of hate mail. No, we all get that. No, this is Linux Gamecast hate mail, which is basically your voice. You get to speak to us. You get to have your say.
On Spotify.
on the show. Yeah, you can actually leave us a voice message on Spotify, yes. Apparently it's not as easy as we originally thought, but it's a possibility. And if you are determined, you can absolutely do it. We would love to listen to it, so go ahead and try. Might as well. But if you'd like
noises.
if you'd like to get in touch with us the usual way, just go to linuxgamecast.com, hit the contact button. The caveats are at the top. The form you gotta fill is at the bottom. LGC Weekly is the topic that you need to fill in. And yes, you can tell us about your metal implants that you may or may not have installed in your genitalia.
Oh God, what was that thing we looked up? Honing? Yeah, do a Google search for honing with safe search off.
Well, I know some phalloplasty actually does like put a rod in your penis. So like, I don't know, maybe that's the thing some people do.
This was a
that's only mildly discomforting to think about.
It is. That was on what is this thing one day. Somebody's like, "Hey, I got this at a garage sale." And everybody's like, "Do you want to tell him?"
It's a phalloplasty too.
It was a kit.
Oh, what, a DIY phalloplasty kit?
Again, Google search. Ladies and gentlemen, 2 weeks ago, we talked about Roblox, which is the game the kids are playing and some adults are playing, like you play it, whatever. And they were doing some A/B testing, like what it was, like 10 or 30%. They detected, and they were genuinely detecting if you were running wine.
Yes. You
could not connect. And Jordan, you brought it up, and you're like, hey, this could be a fucking problem.
Oh, it's absolutely it's going to be a problem. We got BWT writing in. They say, "Man, this sucks big time. My son's friend broke my son's iPad screen, so he's not allowed in my house anymore." No, so my older son has been enjoying Roblox on my Steam Deck while my younger son plays together on the One X player. Haven't had a lot of time to use my Steam Deck, so I was stoked to see that my son was using it a lot. Well, you're going to have more time to use it now, buddy, because you can't play Roblox on it no mo.
Yeah. It's of course because they're trying a new anti-cheat because their children exploitation wasn't secure enough using the existing ones, so they're creating their own. Yeah, that's gonna go well.
I thought they were using another system while following that forum post because somebody chimed in. He's like, "Hey, this system that you're using, make sure that you check allow the wine thing." And they wrote back,
I forget what it's called.
No, we intentionally did not check that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I don't think
it's a Byron or Bison or
Byron, I think it was. Yeah. Something to that effect. But yeah, no, they pushed out that anti-cheat, and that people thought that, hey, are you inadvertently blocking the Linux? And they're like, fuck no.
No,
shit.
That was deliberate. We don't want Linux clogging up our logs because we want to get everything up and running on Windows first.
It's funny because, again, tickles me that their response was, as a Linux user, you know the difficulties of developing for the Windows environment. It's like, that's your fucking I mean, bravo. It's like, you know how shitty Windows is.
Preaching to the choir, pandering a little bit, but no.
That was just somebody going, listen, man, I'm just doing my own job here, man.
I'm replying. My job is to reply to forum posts, man. What do you want from me?
Do you think... I didn't realize it was a big enough issue. I was like, some people are gonna be down. Then I thought about the Steam Deck, and you brought up Steam Deck and just Linux boxes. This was the second comment we got this week when this went into effect on the video from 2 weeks ago. People were searching for it, to finding what the fuck's going on, and two people taking the time to stop and be like, yo, this is directly affecting me.
Mm-hmm. And it's going to be a thing. Because they did say that they are invested and they want to make sure that it keeps working on wine after the transition period.
Well, they said they have
the new anti-cheat in place.
They have no schedule. They have no timelines for when that's happening, which is code for it's never going to fucking happen. And if it does, it's an accident and we'll probably turn it off.
It'll probably be wine that finds a way around it. Yeah.
Now, will it detect it? Because
Roblox.
Well,
Proton.
Okay. What about running it in a KVM?
As
depends
Strider
on
discovered,
how their anti-cheat. It depends on
Strider
how
discovered. Fortnite does detect if you're running in a VM, so they may turn that on, but we don't know just yet if you're going to be running this. And with something like Looking Glass, you could probably get away with just using the inbuilt KVM GPU. Yeah, it's definitely worth investigating if you need your Roblox. If you are a child and you yearn for the mines, the E-mines, I guess.
Oh man, hey, you know what? This might lead to, you can imagine, some kid is like, boom, they're into Linux and all that. They got that playing. You're creating like the origin story for some motherfucker out there right now that's like 12 or 13. They're like,
Eggy 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Dude,
I really wanted to get Roblox up and running on Linux again, so that's how I created this whole new thing. Oh,
wait, what am I wrong with Looking Glass? I thought that was like the GPU acceleration stuff in KVM, or am I completely misremembering?
I don't know. I mean,
I could be wrong.
There's a higher than non-zero chance it's arguing with you just to be contrarian right now. I mean,
okay,
yeah. So Looking Glass is
GPU
mostly
pass through. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. I know there is a project that like exposes a virtual GPU that like allows you to use your main GPU and like the
VMware had that. I don't remember what it was called.
Yeah,
like at that point, shouldn't you just like go buy a fucking Switch or some shit?
I don't know. Maybe you're cheap.
Not if you got a Steam Deck, man.
Well, I spent all my money on a Steam Deck. I can't afford food. I have to like lick it to derive nourishment.
Look on the bright side. Maybe your kids now will be incentivized to play a good game.
Yes.
Yes, incentivize something that isn't actively exploiting the work of children for profit. Yes.
Yeah, indeed.
So is that it? Are we good?
I think that's it. Yeah,
good.
We're done.
All right.
Bye.
Roblox. You can always find us right here on Twitch at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, twitch.tv/LinuxGamecast. Come experience a live show if you do dare this. As always, the video and audio will be available tomorrow for our patrons, and a week later over on our Live and Uncut channel. Good luck finding it. Actually, we got to rename it, so it's like at LGC Uncut or something like that on YouTube. Get a hold of me. I'm Venn Stone on Twitter, or just at Venn at mast.linuxgamecast.com.
I perchance was looking at the subtitles from Twitch, and it translated Linux Gamecast as Let a Keemcast, and that's just very funny. Follow me on Twitter at The Burning Fool, or on Mastodon, I'm at Frojo at mast.linuxgamecast.com. Or I guess at mast.letakeemcast.com.
And I suppose you can find me running around in S mode on Twitter at unaccounted4, FOUR. You can follow me on Mastodon's unaccounted for with the actual number 4 at the end at mast.linuxgamecast.com.
Yeah, I mean, it still does have a little bit of a seizure when Pedro's talking.
Yeah.
Seizure?
The closed captioning system.
It's the seizure procedure.
I get to watch it in real time, and you can see it just stops. Sometimes it's like, wait, what?
Yeah, okay. So it's not quite there yet, but it's technology. It's working.
Let's roll some credits.
All right.
Wrong button.
No, never. I mean, you can just say realism. Well, we got... Oh.
No, this is like, you can have like realistic unprofanism.
I suppose that's true. Well, we got to thank our advisors, Omegas and Artheron. We got to thank our executive producers scrolling up. They're Barb Ramp, Scott Michaud, Atomic Ass, Mike G, drummer Kohaku Pebble, Tomaj, Hakeem David, and Electronic Shepherd. I don't know, I can speak English. Chicago Kicks Ass, Super Destote, Empty, Glory Segral, and Blast. Bleh.
With Sea Monsters, Renault, Rider X Machina, Trudgy Veritanuda,
Closed captioning fucked right off during that.
Dark Queen, System T, Dancing Joe, Ogiwan, and Kyrilla. With the Death Notes, Nova K, Basil, Chad P, Romeo, Marcin, Renee, Leonardo de Kresny, Kim, Chris, Stephen Jill, Benjamin, Doom 2.Watt, Stephen B, Dirty Dean, Beck, Gamatron, Dodgers, Anthros Gaming, Rue, Turnover, M Fox Dog, Svine, Oil of Hope, Jaloux, Piper, and Aromatic Dev.
You made it, you made it. You got them all, man. Bite-sized Snickers time. Boom. That's what we need is a bite-sized Snickers cannon. All of our beautiful showings and everyone.
Oil of Hope is on there twice.
I want
Pedro
a
likes to bring
full-size
that
Snickers.
up. You forgot to bring that up last week. I was a little disappointed in you.
Yeah.
We gotta thank these fuckers as well. Carl, Mike, Arthur, and Linux New LDS Noctilus, John, Eshep,
Too
Front,
late.
you know, Dancing Joe, and
Just read
Aromatic
the
Dev.
board
I
back
caught
here.
them all.
Fire, everyone.
yeah.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
5 dudes.